Hello and welcome, my dear friend. God led you here because this is important for you to know. Let me say it straight. There are people who go through a hard season, and then there are the ones who look back and realize this wasn't just a season. It was my whole story for a while. If that's you, this message is yours. In Romans 5:3-4, it says that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. Heaven has never treated your pain as random. It has always treated it as ground, where something is being formed in you. Chosen ones are not just the ones who believe in God. They are the ones who stayed with God when it felt like nothing was staying with them. There is a difference between I had a bad week and I have sat with God in hospital rooms, empty bank accounts, broken friendships, and silent prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling and fell back on my chest. You didn't just go through something hard, you went through it with Him, and that changed what it did to you. Most people, when life becomes too much, choose one of two roads. Their heart hardens or their hope dies. But you kept doing this strange, stubborn thing. You kept talking to God anyway. You kept showing up when you had no idea why you were still showing up. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't poetic. There were nights you were angry, confused, exhausted by your own faithfulness. You said, God, I don't understand you right now, but you didn't walk away. And heaven has been treating that as something very rare. Imagine a tree on a street where every storm always seems to hit the same corner. Other trees lose a branch once in a while. They get shaken, a bit scratched, but they recover fast. And then there's this one tree that gets everything. The strongest wind, the sharpest hail, the constant pressure. Anyone watching would say, if any tree is going to snap, it will be that one. But it doesn't. It bends, it creaks. It may even look awful some days, but its roots keep digging deeper without anyone seeing. One day, years later, when a bigger storm rolls in, everyone gathers under that exact tree without even thinking about it, because something in them knows this one has already proved it can stand. That's you. That's the kind of strength God has been growing underground in your life. When you say, I've gone through too much, heaven hears more than complaint. Heaven hears a record, a testimony, the list of places where you could have turned bitter and somehow didn't. You kept choosing softness over revenge. You kept choosing honesty over pretending. You kept choosing to get back up even when part of you wanted to stay on the floor and be done. You don't always feel strong. In fact, many times you feel tired. But strength in the kingdom doesn't always look like flexing. It looks like getting up and washing your face after crying on the bathroom floor. It looks like telling the truth when a lie would be easier. It looks like loving a little more carefully instead of shutting your heart down completely. Chosen ones carry this rare kind of strength because they let God into the places that were too much. Anyone can say God is good when the bill is paid, the diagnosis is clean, and the relationship is happy. But you whispered, God, stay with me, over a sink full of dishes, with a knot in your chest and no idea how next month would work. You said, I trust you, with tears in your eyes and no guarantee of how the story would end. And while you felt like you were barely surviving, God was doing something precise inside you. He was stretching what your soul could hold. He was teaching you how not to break under weight. He was making sure that when people lean on you later, you won't collapse from the first pressure. This is why certain people already come to you without knowing why. They talk to you about their worst days, even if you're not the oldest or the loudest in the room. They can't explain it, but they sense it. They sense you've been somewhere they're afraid of. They sense you've sat with questions that would crush them. They sense you've walked with God in places they only know as nightmares. And because you went there with Him, your presence now carries something that can't be faked. You are not just nice. You are not just strong. You are someone whose life has been tempered like metal in fire. Others were shaped by comfort. You were shaped by survival and staying. And now, without trying to impress anyone, your way of living is becoming instruction. The way you forgive, the way you speak gently even when you're tired, the way you refuse to throw away your faith, even when it would be easier to blame God and close the door. All of that is preaching quietly, even when your mouth is closed. You think, I don't have a big platform. I'm not doing anything special. But your family is watching you. Your friends are watching you. The people who thought you would have broken by now are watching you, and they can't always name it, but they can see one thing clearly. Whatever you went through did not take you out. It did something else instead. It gave you a strength that doesn't shout but doesn't shake either. That, my dear friend, is why your power is so rare. And because it's rare, God does not waste it. There are people who want quick influence, quick platforms, quick applause. They want to speak into lives without ever having sat in the dark with their own pain long enough to listen. That's not you. You didn't get here by accident. You didn't wake up one morning with this depth. Your strength has a cost written all over it. This is why certain doors seem to stay shut for you longer than for others. Why positions you could have handled in your own talent didn't open when you thought they should. Because when someone like you finally steps forward, you're not just another voice in the noise. You are a living example of what it looks like to walk through too much and not become the very thing that hurt you. There are people in your life right now who don't listen to sermons, who scroll past verses, who shut down when anyone starts sounding religious. But they are watching you. They're watching how you respond when you're under pressure. They're watching what you do when you're disappointed. They're watching whether your kindness is real or just a performance. And slowly, without you forcing anything, their hearts are learning, this is another way to live. This is another way to carry pain without passing it on. That's why the enemy fought you so hard in certain seasons, not just to wear you down, but to try to convince you that your story is useless, that your scars are random, that your battles were for nothing. Because if you ever truly realized what God has formed in you through all of this, you would stop apologizing for who you are and start walking in the quiet authority you were given. You would stop asking, why am I like this? And start recognizing, of course I feel things deeply. Of course I care more than seems logical. I was built to hold more than the average person. In 2 Corinthians 12:10, Paul says, when I am weak, then am I strong. He wasn't glorifying pain. He was saying, every place that proves I am not enough on my own is another place where God's strength can show up clearly. You know those places well. The moments where you whispered, God, if you don't help me, I can't do this. The conversations where you had no words and somehow the right ones came. The days where you should have snapped, but something held you back. That is the strength you carry now. Not loud, not boastful, but tested. And here is what's important for this season of your life. You don't have to pretend it was no big deal. You don't have to erase your story so others don't feel confronted by their own avoidance. You can honor what you walked through without turning it into a personality, without becoming the pain, without living as a victim. You can let it be what it really is. Proof that God did not leave you. Evidence that you are capable of more than you think. Training for what you are about to carry next. Because make no mistake, this kind of strength is preparation. Preparation to lead when others are overwhelmed. Preparation to stay steady when headlines scream panic. Preparation to love people who are still in the place you once begged God to bring you out of. And you will recognize them when you see them. The ones with the tired eyes and the brave smiles. The ones who joke a little too quickly to hide the ache. The ones who say, I'm fine, but linger when everyone else goes home. You won't have to preach at them. You won't have to prove anything. Your presence will do what trees do in storms. It will simply stand. And loudly, without words, it will say, I've been through winds like this, you can stand too. So if you've ever wondered, why did I have to go through all of that? Hear this. None of it was random. None of it was wasted. God has been forming in you a strength that is calm, a strength that is kind, a strength that does not need to shout to be real. The world has plenty of loud power. What it is starving for is the kind of rare power you carry now. And whether you fully see it yet or not, heaven already does. The people closest to you are starting to. And in the days ahead, you will look back on even the hardest chapters and realize they were not just your breaking points. They were the forging fire for the rarest strength God could trust someone with. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.